talking about World Cross Country Championships, some visas getting denied. So let's dive right in, guys. World Cross Country Championships are taking place this weekend in Tallahassee, Florida. For the first time, it has been held in the U.S. since 1992, since it was in Boston. That was over 3 decades ago. So, I mean, guys, we have a lot to look forward to, and the competition will begin with the mixed relay. On there is Ethan Strand, Wes Porter, Gracie Morris, Sage Herder-Klecker, and in order to qualify for that relay team, athletes had to finish top two in the respective 2K cross country races at the USATF Cross Country Championships. So they will make up Team USA for the mixed relay. Guys, how exciting is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is super cool. It's such a unique event, to have a mixed relay and then B, something that's so fast. Each leg is going to be over in a flash. You get to showcase some of our more middle distance, short distance kind of athletes, and it's such a unique thing. We don't get this at NCAA cross country. We don't get this pretty much ever. So I'm just excited to see how it plays out. I love when team dynamics come into play, when it's not just about how well an individual does, but when you have, four people coming together to compete with the best. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be different, and some really exciting names on that team that I just can't wait to see how they all team up.
No, for sure. And Johnny, I'm going to stay on you real quickly because normally when we talk about relays and what we'd like to see, you're usually the one in the bunch who's saying, I'd love to see a DMR or a 4x1000, things of that nature. So tell me about how excited you are to see this mixed relay happen on the world stage.
Yeah, I mean, just, to reiterate, I think we have so many strong athletes, and I think this team, they're not your 10K specialists, and yet they still get to participate in a cross country event. To have it on home turf as well is really neat. A lot of these athletes have probably raced cross country or in Florida at some point in their life, and so that'll be cool. And the short distance, like it's like a track. It's like a track relay, just off the track. I'm especially excited for my buddy Wes Porter, who is a UVA alumni, in his first season with Under Armour, and started things off so strongly by making a world team. I mean, that's about as good as you could hope for in your first 6 months of being professional. So special shout out to Wes. We've shared many a mile over the years, and I'm really excited for him in this opportunity to represent Team USA alongside his fellow men and women. So it's going to be unique. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. Maybe even more so than the open 10K.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. You have some Virginia presence. You have some ACC presence there with Ethan Strand as well. So I'm definitely 100% excited. Very unique situation that we're usually not talking about. Let me see. Ola, would you run a mixed cross-country relay?
Actually, you know what's funny about that? I very much came close in my past already, but you didn't know that.
Okay, so you play guitar, you run cross-country, Team Nigeria, you make beats. Tell me about it.
No, my goodness. She's adding all this falsified information to my resume. Don't come after me. All right. So it was actually back in high school. There was a meet called Brentsville District Relays, and it was a cross country meet. So the varsity kids would run a 5K, but then actually, if I remember correctly, it was like a relay where everybody ran 1.5 miles rather, and everybody had to carry a baton, which was pretty interesting for a cross country race. And then I actually was not selected for the relay team because I was a sprinter / jumper who was just doing cross country for fun. So I got to run the cross country race. So it was just 1.5 miles. But what made Brentsville District so cool, and I'm not sure if the meet's still going on, is that it was under the lights, and it had they had strobe lights and all this stuff. So back in my day, but way back in the early 2000s, to have something like that was really cool. And to see all the varsity athletes compete in a relay on the cross country course, kind of to Johnny's point, it's exciting to see a relay over that distance, but it's way more engaging when there's terrain changes and there are hills and it's not just laps around the track. So yeah, World XC's mixed relay, that's going to be nuts. I'm glad that's one of the changes that's coming into the sport that actually was really exciting, and it actually feels innovative in a way that will get people paying attention.
Yeah, you already know how Team USA gets down with the relays, so it's going to be super exciting. I just can't wait to recap it this time next week. So let's move along to the senior races. Obviously, we have Team USA for that, and to qualify for the senior team, athletes had to finish top 6 at the USATF championships in the men's and women's 10K races. The men's team will be highlighted by Parker Wolf, Rocky Hansen, Wesley Kiptoo, Ahmed Mohamed, Nico Young, and Graham Blanks. So this is a really, really, really good team that we have coming in representing Team USA. And on the women's side, we have Lainey Colati, Katie Izzo, Edna Kurgat, Carissa Schweizer, Emily Venters, and Grace Hartman. So, guys, thoughts?
This is a very strong team that we've assembled, especially on the men's side. A lot of those names are sticking out to me as recent cross country superstars from the NCAA. It's a young team, but they've proven themselves. Rocky getting second place at NCAA's just a couple months ago. Graham obviously being an NCAA cross champion a couple years, 2 years ago and 3 years ago. It's young, but I do think this is it's very it's a very tough, tall order to have Team USA podium at a World Cross Country Championships. It's very rare. Certain things might have to, they'd have to have a good day, but I feel pretty strongly that this team could contend for podiums, and that's an exciting position for Team USA to be in.
No, for sure. And I think what makes it most exciting is the same way I get excited about the Olympics and World Championships is just that NCAA crossover into the pros. Because we know at this day and age, we all say it all the time, trackflation, trackflation, trackflation. But it's like these college students, these collegiate students, they can compete and beat some of the pros that we all know and love. So for them to compete with Team USA on the stage is super duper exciting, to say the least. Even when you think about the U20 team, but I don't want to jump the gun. Oh, do you have anything to say?
No, I've kind of echoed Johnny's point. Honestly, it's me paying attention to the distance in cross country at the level that I have in the past maybe year and a half is already something new. I like to watch the sport as a broad spectator, but it's really cool that we've been able to cross paths with a lot of these athletes who were, we were covering them as collegiate athletes in the past 2 years as an organization. Look at Wayne. Obviously Ethan. So it's really cool to see, even from my slightly outsider perspective with the cross country, it's really cool to see that we've crossed paths with a lot of these young talents, and to maybe keep an eye on them as to see what the results are going to be. Again, to echo Johnny's point a little bit more for the third time, I really do think that it's going to be a tall order, but we've seen some pretty exciting things coming out of USA track and field and cross country in the past. So I don't think a podium is off the table for us as a whole.
I think
I would also like to share.
Oh,
sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'd love to hear what you wanted to share, but I just said, while we're on that topic, we were talking today in our team chat that up between 120 and 130 former NCAA athletes are entered in this championship, and I think that's probably between U20 and seniors. But that's just a pretty cool stat. That's a lot. That's a lot of runners to be lining up that have gone through the NCAA. And so that was kind of just my interesting fact.
Yeah, no, I think that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it fun, because we have been covering them. Johnny, you and I were at Mizzou just a few months ago, rooting on Rocky Hansen, who kind of stole everybody's heart during that cross championships. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a tall order. And you mentioned a great point about U20. So let's talk about who will be representing Team USA on the U20 stage. So to qualify for the U20 team, athletes had to finish top 5 at the USATF U20 championships or finish as the top American at NXN. So our men's U20 team consists of Aiden Torres, Tyler Dallek, Daniel Scandera, Salvador Worth, Dylan Maloney, and Jackson Spencer, who that's the name we have all come to know and love, where we even had GOAT debates and GOAT, just conversations that he's been in as just a generational talent in the sport of cross country. Because sometimes I do like to differentiate between cross country and track and field. He is also a beast on the track. So that team is going to be something special. Should I just go on to the women's guys, or do you want to talk a little bit about what Jackson and company will contribute to this team?
Yeah, I just wanted to say two things. Is we just saw Jackson, take that title in San Diego just a couple weeks ago. He's clearly in good cross country form. He's ready to take on those hills, and just showing that he's got that winner's mindset. I also wanted to mention, it's been in the news this week that, especially in the U20 race, that I think 14 of the Ethiopian athletes were denied visas as of this week, which shakes it up quite a bit. That's a team that is gonna has historically really dominated this event, and it's unfortunate and certainly dilutes the competition. But worth noting that a lot of this U20 team from the Ethiopian contingency is not going to be on the line. So just as with the senior race, it could open up opportunities. They're going to have their work cut out for them, but definitely interesting development this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to get to that as soon as we're done with like the women's U20. So hold that thought because we definitely need to expand on that. But yeah, no, the men's U20 team is going to be pretty stacked. On the women's side, we have Daniel Scheffler, Caroline Barton, Abigail Sewell, Nora Hushigan, Avery Morosco Johnson, and Blair Bartlett. All names that we are very familiar with, whether it's on the NXN stage or what we've seen at Brooks Cross Country. So stacked nonetheless, guys. But yeah, Johnny, to your point, yes, 14 Ethiopian visas has been denied. U20 teams, due to the U.S. Embassy denying visas for those athletes. So yeah, as reported by John Gull of Let's Run, up until this year, Ethiopia had held the longest two medal streaks in the history of World Athletics cross country championships, with 36 of the U20 men, 36 for the U20 men, and 27 for the U20 women. So yes, in total, 6 U20 men and 4 U20 women, alongside 4 senior athletes, were denied visas. I would love to get your thoughts on this because obviously it's just conflicting feelings.
I mean, Olu, I think you probably have some experience with this, like dealing with logistics. And it's not just you just take a flight in and it's straightforward. So maybe you probably more than anybody could speak to what this has gone down.
Yeah, that's actually really nuts. I hate to see it. And again, if we're gonna make it a little bit personal, like being a Nigerian American athlete, I always want to have a vested interest in seeing other African countries succeed, as long as alongside American athletes. And it sucks to see that. I mean, we don't know. I don't know if details have come out specifically about the reason behind the visa denial, but it's a little bit of that stings deeply because when I was competing for Nigeria, I mean, I personally never had that issue because I'm a Nigerian American. I have 2 passports. But on the other hand, I have seen some teammates not be able to get access to a country because maybe they'd filed. I mean, the point I'm going to make is going to tie it in. Maybe they submitted their visa a little bit late. But the sad part about that is the day that I'm referring to isn't the athlete themselves. Oftentimes this falls on the organization. Oftentimes this falls on the National Olympic Committee. Oftentimes this falls onto the organizing bodies who don't do their part. And I can't speak for Ethiopia, but I can speak for my time with Team Nigeria. And I have so many like lifetime moments in my time competing professionally, as you can see right there. But at the same time, I'll also have some like lifetime pain points that came not from me not having done my part, but from my own administration who's supposed to represent me not doing theirs. We can look back to Tokyo 2020 when a lot of these athletes who had made it on ground to Tokyo didn't find out that they couldn't compete. They qualified for the imagine this, qualifying for the Olympic Games, getting to the country, being in the village, doing all the things, and it's not till 2, 3, 4 days before you compete that you find out you're not going to be able to compete in the biggest competition of your life. Now, this World Cross Countries is not the Olympic Games, but at the same time, as I also know, making a world team isn't a guaranteed thing. So when you make a world team, whether it's cross countries or world outdoors or indoors or any of these situations, you want to seize that opportunity to compete. I just think it's very important that we as spectators and we as the fan and we as the media also give some empathy to these athletes because the situations by why their visas were not approved could be completely out of their hands.
I love that caveat at the end. Yes, no, thank you. Yeah, because I had conflicting feelings about it, but I just didn't know how much I can speak on it, being that I, honestly speaking, cannot directly relate. But it's just one of those things where my hearts go out to them because, again, I can only imagine how it is to be competing to represent your country on a world stage and then getting the blow moments before that you're just not going to.
Yeah. Oof. Been there multiple times myself. It sucks. Both times were global teams too, so I know the feeling.